That's ending his role as the CEO of the Enterprise Group of Jackson, Keith Gillenwater. Oh, that's not quite true, is it, Keith?
Not quite. Just a change.
Welcome to the show. Yes, so that was kind of a tease as to a big change that Keith is going to announce right here and now.
Yeah, so after the course of over the last year, meeting with lots of companies, meeting with just different organizations around the county, one takeaway that we had in that process was that maybe it was time for a change in our organization. And with a leadership change, obviously with me coming in and maybe some confusion on what the Enterprise Group did, our board thought that maybe it was time to consider a rebrand. And so excited to announce today that we are now Accelerate Jackson County.
Accelerate Jackson County. Well, congratulations. I was going to ask you if you could rent me a mid-size or luxury car.
You would be surprised that we have gotten that question under Enterprise before. I've had a couple of meetings where that came up to say, 15 minutes into the meeting that, oh, we've gotten a lot of cars from you. And then that realization starts to set in that they think I'm Enterprise Rent-A-Car. So I'm not upset about the change.
Well, I like the name. It really, it's more descriptive of what you are doing as an organization. But for those who maybe haven't been familiar with the Enterprise Group or with what the group now is as Accelerate Jackson County, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, so we're the economic development organization for Jackson County. We have our roots go back to 1997 when our organization was formed as the old Enterprise Group of Jackson County, and we were formed to lead economic development, community development efforts. And so that typically takes the form of business retention, so working with the business community that we have here to grow, expand, those kinds of things. The business attraction side, trying to build industrial parks and fill them with new businesses. But that also takes on a lot of other things, and as the nature of economic development changes over the years, our scope of our work has changed as well, and so taking on a lot of community development and really what are those things that make the community livable, right? Like why are you still here when you could have left at some point? Why did I want to come here and move my family here? It's those kinds of things, and so. I think the new brand reflects that where we're going, right? It more closely aligns with what our mission is and what we're trying to go. We're accelerating there, we're getting there, we're moving forward, and we're going fast.
Yeah, you told me before the show you've had to spend the first 10 or 15 minutes in meetings with people explaining what the Enterprise Group is and does, but having a name that is more descriptive, I think, is probably going to be a big help.
Oh, absolutely. We're banking on it.
Now the logo, I like that. It's got, we've got our location, the roads, the highways. We've got an airport where you've got forward motion. I think it fits.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you picked up on all those things. That's exactly what we were trying to convey.
Now we've got some really cool success stories since you started just, 6 months? How long have you been?
Going on a year. It doesn't
It's
seem
been
like
a year?
it, right?
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
A
year here in about 3 weeks. So
awesome. Well, the big story, I think, for Accelerate Jackson County has been the new industrial park on County Farm Road.
I would agree. Jackson Technology Park North. We had a lead role in developing that with the community, with Blackman Charter Township, to not only acquire the land but build it into an industrial park, and or a technology park, and we've had a lot of success and welcomed our first tenant that we did a groundbreaking with Midbrook Fabricating, Midbrook Products, and then we actually are, I think, on the verge of selling another 12 acres to another company, another prospect, and so that will be exciting. And so from really starting to market that in full in the early part of 2024, we've sold a couple of lots out of that. I mean, honestly, closer to 5 lots out of it now. So we're pretty excited about how that's developing out.
And one of the cool things I think about the Jackson Technology Park North, and you had no idea this was going to be the case, you've got local companies that want to expand in this space that might have had to look outside of Jackson in order to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Midbrook is a great example of that. And I know you've had Jamie on here onto the show. They were renting into a facility where they didn't have a lot of opportunity to grow inside of that facility. And so they were looking for what's that next step for their business. And so that we can accommodate them, that they can grow right here in Jackson County, that they can continue to thrive. And they build a building for what they need now, but for their future growth. And like, that's exactly what we're trying to accomplish.
They called Accelerate Jackson County's Economic Development Organization, but it's not Jackson County's as an entity, it's the counties as a group of government, businesses, individuals, leaders. A number of components make up the board, the funding, and the management of Accelerate Jackson County.
Yeah, absolutely. So we operate as a 501c3 and as a 501c6 between what was the Enterprise Group of Jackson Inc. and the Enterprise Group of Jackson Community Ventures Corporation, our C3 entity. And so we are a not-for-profit entity. We have a variety of funding. Our funding comes in primarily from the private sector. So we are from public funding between our fee-for-service contracts, like with the county and some of the townships and LDFAs and that kind of thing. We're actually only about 16.5% publicly funded. The rest of that comes from private investors.
With the new name and the new brand, will there be any changes in what you do or how you do it?
You know, I think yes and no, right? I mean, we are still the same. We're still the entity that is going to be the Economic Development Organization, the Economic Development Corporation for Jackson County. And so that's not going to change. Our mission is not going to change. I think what you'll see is it getting amped up, right? As we start to take on, you know, I mentioned how the nature of economic development has changed over the years. I think you'll see some of that getting amped up as we start to look at things like the livability of the community. I think you'll see that getting amped up in that regard with taking on issues like housing in the community, making sure that we have a holistic approach to housing across Jackson County. So I think you'll see a lot of that kind of stuff that gets added on. But at the end of the day, we're still the Economic Development Organization. We're still going to be there for existing businesses. We're still leading the business attraction and the marketing efforts of the community. So.
You, 10 years ago, had as your biggest problem not enough shovel-ready land for development. Has that changed?
So it certainly has helped having the foresight of the community to build out Jackson Technology Park North. But at the end of the day, there's still a challenge there. We have available land, but a lot of it I wouldn't call an industrial site. I wouldn't call it it's definitely not an industrial park, right? And so I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to focus on that. And that's actually one of our big courses of work for 2025 is to do a study across Jackson County to really assess what our assets are, where those opportunities are for that next site. We know that bringing Jackson Technology Park North on already, really kicking it off in 23 and 24 from the marketing, we've already sold several lots out of that. And so we know that there's a finite amount of land available in that park. And so we constantly have to be looking at what's that next project that we can bring on. And so there's opportunities that we're already working with, say with Parma's LDFA out behind Mackey, looking at sites like that. But we know there are other opportunities, both those short-term immediate ones, but also for us to look at what are those long-term opportunities that it might take us 5 years or 10 years to be able to bring that and turn it into a site. But you have to start somewhere, and you have to start it at some point. So,
well, we'll look forward to the next big thing. The next big thing right now is the new name and brand. now known as Accelerate Jackson County, and your website is rebranded and going live this afternoon as we speak.
Yes, absolutely. AccelerateJacksonCounty.org.
Great. Keith, congratulations. Happy anniversary,
Thank you.
and thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
The CEO and president of Accelerate Jackson County, Keith Gillenwater.